Hi, this is Alex Danner, and today I'm happy to be here with one of our clients, Corey Sexton from Land of Enchantment Trophy Hunts in New Mexico. And I just wanted to connect with Corey and ask him a few questions about his experience with us and some of the digital services we've provided him and Land of Enchantment. So, Corey, if you wouldn't mind, can you introduce yourself, the outfitter, and your title for the outfitter?
My name's Corey Sexton. I'm a guide for Land of Enchantment Trophy Hunts. Jack Huntley's our outfitter, and I've been guiding in New Mexico for roughly about 10 years. And through the years, been with Jack during that time.
Gotcha. Okay. So what different tasks do you do for the outfitter? I mean, are you managing everything, doing the scouting, selling hunters, what are your range of duties, for the outfitter?
All right. So for Land of Enchantment, I manage the social media for him. I take care of the talking to hunters and different things, lining up the hunts as far as scheduling, lodging, and getting guides and talking to them. And then we'll all go out together and scout the ranches. I set up the days that we're going to go scout, and whether it be on private land or public land. And that way every guide can get familiar with each area of the state.
Gotcha. Okay. So you said New Mexico, obviously that's where the outfitter is, but which units do you primarily hunt in New Mexico?
We primarily hunt units 36, 34, unit 4, 48, 37, 31, 32. We're kind of spread out across the state with different ranches throughout, whether it be public land or private land. And we will hunt anywhere in the state, especially if a hunter draws a tag somewhere or this, we are permitted to go across anywhere we need to.
Gotcha. Okay. Which animals do you hunt?
We primarily hunt deer, antelope, and elk. We will hunt Gemsbuck, oryx. We'll hunt Barbary sheep, which also known as aoudad. And then we do predator hunts, and we'll do calling as far as that on them. We'll do lion and bear hunts with hounds.
Okay, cool. And how many hunters would you say you get per year?
This past year for the 2021 season, we had sent 270 animals to the taxidermist. That's not counting, the cow hunts and, different hunts where people decided not to mount the species they did, that they harvested.
Wow. So quite a bit more than I would take it.
Yeah, probably total about 310 to 320 hunters.
Wow. Nice. Awesome. Okay. And I think you touched on this already, but is it primarily private versus public, or is it just kind of a mix of both?
It's mostly private land. The way New Mexico is with the draw and stuff, it depends on if a hunter able to draw a tag, or if somebody calls on it, that drew a tag, or they need help that way. But it would be probably 75, 25, 75 of being private land with guaranteed tags.
Okay. And then landowner tags are used for the private hunting, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right. So some questions related to the website and the marketing. So what we did was we created a new website for Corey and Land of Enchantment Trophy Hunts. And before they had just kind of a very basic website. And Corey was looking to update it, of course. So before we built that website, how are you finding, new hunters primarily?
Besides word of mouth, I was having to really, share the website, tell people what it was, text them the actual website. They weren't really, whenever they would try to Google or try to look for it, wasn't popping up that way. So when the new website was created, we've got a lot more contacts as far as people contact, where they would Google elk hunts in New Mexico or antelope, and it would trigger to be on the top of the search and get people calling that way. And whenever I would text it before, people would kind of look at it and they're like, okay, hey, you have a website. It just wasn't the website deal wasn't real big for us, and we didn't think that it was a big deal to need a really good website until getting the website. Now I feel like that's the super big, it plays a big role into it, as far as like whether before, if we would have went to a hunting show and set up and they looked at a website and went through, now I can walk through a hunting show without a booth with just a t-shirt and then see the logo, then Google the name, and boom, the next thing you know, I've got somebody calling or sending an email.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the shows get very expensive and just a huge ordeal to, bring all that stuff over there if you want to have a good looking booth, not just like a plastic table.
Well,
with
you
like
figure
one shed on it.
if you spend, on an average show is probably $5,000 to $6,000 by the time you do travel, hotel, all the expenses, at least that, probably on a minimum.
Yeah.
And then smaller shows will be a little bit cheaper, but by the time you spend that, you're having to go to several of them. If the website's there, it's made itself, it's done the advertisement, it pops up like it's shown. Whether maybe we don't pay for a booth at a show or even go, but somebody said, oh, I want to hunt elk in New Mexico because I seen a elk hunt at some booth. They go and Google it, and the website pops up and they're able to see that.
Right. Okay. So how many leads, I guess, were you getting with that old website that you had? Were you getting any leads through that?
Not direct contacts through the website through there. The only leads through the old website was me personally showing them or saying, here's a website, you can look at a few pictures. Now with hunters, looking at the name and seeing that every single day, it doesn't matter if it's holiday or not, no matter what, we're getting some kind of contact about a hunt, somebody looking for something, whether it be for this year or next, or even people are calling for, a couple years in advance now, looking for stuff, knowing that the website's made more positive contacts and links versus people, what we would call window shopping, where they're just kind of like, okay, hey, tell me about an elk hunt, but they're not really interested. Once they go to the website and then they fill out the page as far as communicating that way or calling, they're ready to buy it, and they like what they've seen, and they may have a few other questions after the fact, but most of the time the website's answered that for them. And by the time that they do call and send their email, they're ready to book their hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely seems to be, if somebody's looking for a hunt, the first thing they're going to be doing is, if they've never heard of an outfitter, which is pretty common, somebody that's never been to that state, maybe they hunted other states, but they want to go to New Mexico where all the, giant elk are. They type that in, and then they're basically judging the book by its cover. And if they see some website that's, built 20 years ago and they can't see it on their phone, like, it's an instant no. And it's kind of, maybe it is unfair, but it definitely reflects the business as a whole. I know when I've looked at different outfitters, if I see something like that, it kind of almost makes me assume that the outfitters doesn't exist anymore. So that's just kind of how it goes, it seems. But nice updated one gets first dibs, it seems.
Right. And so, like, through the years of this, Jack's been doing this for over 40 years. So with that being said, I mean, late 70s, you don't get the social media, the texting, the phone, that stuff is not there for the older generation as much. Like, as far as my parents like texting, like, I can tell whenever I send them a text that it's slow, their response is slower, or this, and how they communicate. Now it's, everybody wants to see a review, they want to see a website, they want to hear from references, they want to see it all put together. So every little bit is there. They have to see, like, okay, hey, they have a website, not, oh yeah, they've been doing it 40 years, they don't need one, because it was, before the website was redesigned and done this, it was just a basic one-page website where it showed basically the name of the outfit and a picture. And it wasn't enough to grab someone's attention where they could go through and look at a different gallery for each species and say, oh wow, okay, hey, they haven't just killed one elk or one antelope or one deer, they've killed multiple species. And then whether the website's got them hooked, and then they go, okay, hey, I want to see what's there. And then they reference on there different things, and they can go through and Google it. And when they Google the website, they have the website popped up through Google, and then references will pop up on there, and, past hunting experiences versus, oh yeah, they've been doing it 40 years. Let's hunt with them. Well, sometimes that goes into effect. Like, is it out of, is that over? Is the prime over? Like,
Yeah.
it's, you got to advance with the time. Like, it's the footprints there. Like, you need the positive website, you need the social media footprint. And just because someone has a Facebook or Instagram, they need a website to back that, and that really helps out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. So as far as like the improvements, I know you kind of touched on this a little bit too already, but are you seeing a lot, how many more hunters, I guess, would you say are coming through the website, if you would say like, certain amount of times more than you were seeing before? Like 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, like more inquiries through the website?
Well, if we went times wise, it would be probably 100 times more, because before we weren't getting the initial deal.
Yeah.
Now, on
Excuse me.
people booking,
Sorry. Let's say
Yeah.
social media too. Not just through the website, but like just people contacting you, just in general, I guess. Since the old website didn't have a whole lot of traffic, are people just a lot more people contacting you in general just because they have that link to the website and they can view it and then contact you?
a lot more people are contacting because they find the website, they Google, they look at different things, they search for a hunt and it pops up, and then they see it. And then whether they go from the website to calling or send an email, or they get on a social media type thing and look it up that way.
Gotcha.
But the initial deals from them contacting it. But I'd say at minimum of 5 emails a day from the website. And through the span of the website's life of how many different hunters have booked through that, I'd say I've booked probably at least 150 hunters through the website.
Awesome.
That weren't Facebook first or Instagram first or this, that they searched for a hunt and they found the website and booked that way.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. Okay. And so I guess, has it changed the business as a whole? I mean, now that, different things are coming in, are you awarded different opportunities? I mean, with you and Jack, are you, with this big uptick, are you just kind of thinking, oh, we have these different opportunities that we didn't have before? I mean, has it changed anything with that, or anything personally with either one of you?
So with it being able to get more contacts through the website this way, it's given us more time to scout and do work on other things as the business, as far as putting more time into the hunts and doing that, instead of spending hours and hours on the phone or having to travel for shows or travel to different things. It's able to answer a lot of questions. Somebody can get on a website and answer their own questions before they just reach out. And ask, like, okay, hey, what state are you in, or what do you have to offer this, or what do the elk look like, or the antelope? And they get on the website and they see that and they're like, okay, hey, I want to commit. So in that way of it, it saved a lot of time.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because if you're spending all your time trying to sell or go to shows and, just kind of, I guess, more stressed out about having enough hunters each year, that's going to be time that you're not out in the field actually finding the elk for the clients you're bringing in. So, that's awesome that you have more time to do that, and just makes a better experience overall. When they find you guys, they're happier with what they're seeing through the website, but then they get the help they want to. So, it's good to see. So last thing I have, and I think, we kind of know you've touched on this as well, but, there's a lot of outfitters out there that have older websites, but they're, like you said, they might not really understand it. They don't really understand social media, how powerful it is. So what would you say to the ones that don't really understand it, or maybe they're on the fence about updating it? Anything, I guess, specific, or any kind of guidance, recommendations that you would have for someone like that?
So like being upgrading a website to even guys that may not even have one to one that's not been upgraded in a while to do that, I would, what my advice would be on that is the website itself will sell hunts. Just the loan. Like, I mean, I get it. It's all about, okay, hey, I've been doing it for this long. I'm this good. We hunt these areas that are great, this species and this, but every outfitter has the access to every unit. Every outfitter has the access to elk. What puts that outfitter on top? What pushes that to the next level? When they go through and they see a basic website that may have cost, I mean, our old website was cheap. We paid for what we got 100%. And it was very basic. So when you would look at that and go, and then they went to another one and it may have been playing a video, it may have showed this, it may have showed different things that caught different people's attention. And I would definitely recommend 100% over to improve the website for the booking and the capabilities. I mean, alone, just the value of the website for the extra time that I have with my family is 1000% worth it.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Glad everything's working out, really well, but those are all the questions I had. I appreciate you coming on here with me and, just kind of talking about your experience and, unless you have anything else, I'll wrap it up and, appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Corey. See ya.